Good afternoon, Mike. Welcome to the podcast Black as Black. How in the hell are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Rich. Thank you so much for the invitation. This was out of the blue. Had no idea what you were talking about. This is cool.
Right. Well, I don't know if I sent you some links to some of my other ones I've done.
Yes, you did. Yeah,
Okay.
it made more
Yeah.
sense.
It made more sense then. Yeah, right. So anyway, yeah, thanks for coming on. And I want to start back at pick up a little bit of your background. Uh, were you born there in Mount Vernon, or you come from outside, or
I was born and raised in southeast Missouri, and I grew up over there, and then went to St. Louis and worked my way over there, and then moved to Mount Vernon in 1996. I was working for an insurance company, and they gave me an opportunity to come over here and take a management position. So I moved to Mount Vernon, and that was in 1996, and can't find the door to get out. It's still here.
Yeah, I hear that. I bailed out of there twice. I think I'm gone for good now until
Uh-huh.
maybe I got to move back so my daughter can feed me.
Yeah. Well, I'm here now by myself. My daughter lived here in town and worked with me, Sarah, which is friends with your daughter Kim,
Right,
and they've moved down to southern Missouri, so I'm left here in town all by myself now. So
right.
I
Well,
kind
I'm
of
down here in Florida with my wife Tammy and
mm,
no other relatives. Well, I've got a granddaughter in Edgewater, which is up, I think, north of Daytona a little bit.
hmm
But
yeah.
that's a long trip across there on I-4.
Well,
So we don't see each other too often. We chat on Facebook and on the phone. But
yeah, I've
anyway,
got
so
friends
you
that
moved to Mount Vernon,
yeah.
and then I guess what I know you for is your work with the Chamber of Commerce.
Well, when I this sounds kind of flip, but it's the truth.
Right,
When I first came to town, I was trying to find people that I could talk to that knew people that might be looking for a job, because that was my job, was to recruit and train people into the insurance business.
right,
So I don't know a single person in Mount Vernon. So I literally, the first place I went was to the Chamber of Commerce, and Norma Caldwell was the
hmm,
executive director at that time. And I told her what I was doing, told her my story. Well, she gave me a name of about 15 leaders in Mount Vernon at that time,
right,
and I had the audacity to go talk to every one of them
right.
and get to know them. And it just kind of took off from there. They invited me to be a part of this and that, and join this organization, Rotary, and the Elks, and American
Right.
Legion, and a lot of the other nonprofits and so forth. And it just catapulted, but all because of my first visit to the Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce, right,
Yep.
right.
Mhm.
Well, I like I say, I really didn't have any background. That's all I knew you from was working
Mhm.
with the chamber,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
seems like I do remember you being in insurance at some point. That
Right. I own
sounded
my own.
familiar.
Right. I own my own insurance agency at the corner of 9th and Main in beautiful downtown Mount Vernon, 246
Beautiful
1000 for all
downtown.
your insurance needs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I was in
Hey,
the business my entire career,
right,
and had my own agency in downtown, and started to open it up in 98, and sold it in 12, worked for the
hmm,
company until 16. And then I went to, and all during that time, I was active with the chamber all the time. I was the
right,
president twice and was on every committee and every whatever. Chamber
right.
was my main. I told people that at the time, probably 20% of my business comes from my connections
Through,
at the Chamber of Commerce.
right through the
So
affiliations there.
yeah,
I guess you got your share of ribbon cuttings in during that
ooh
time.
baby, and I loved doing though. I loved
Yeah,
doing because that meant something was going on. So
yeah,
we cut a lot of them,
yeah.
and then we always took pictures, and then I would frame the picture and take it back to the business and have them
Right.
to put it on their wall to remember the ribbon cutting. Yeah, they really
Yeah.
appreciated that. That was cool.
Yeah, I think we had ours out behind the old shoe factory after we'd moved down there. We kind of had an official grand opening at that time.
Hmm.
Everybody from the chamber was there, and
Yep.
I think I've got a picture of you somewhere standing on one of our step units. We made
I
a
remember
slogan
that.
out of that. We don't only stand behind our products; we stand on
Stand
them
on
too.
them.
And we had it loaded with as many
Yeah.
people as we could get on it.
Yeah, I remember that. When I was down there, I tried to take care of your insurance there for a while also. I don't remember if we ever
Yeah,
got that done or not, but
no, but
Allison,
I.
who bought the business behind you and opened it up, I had her insurance when she first opened up down
Oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Name slips my mind right now.
Allison,
Allison, yeah.
Allison
I,
Algara.
that's what was tripping me up.
Is
I
that?
couldn't think how to
Yeah,
pronounce the last name, so therefore
yeah,
couldn't think of her first name.
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
she's
saw
done
her.
well. I
I,
went out
I
there last time I was home, and I tried to check in and visit with her a little bit, but she was busy, and then I ran out of time and
sure.
never happened. But there's still at least one of my old employees, Tim House,
Is that right?
works
Yeah.
there. I brought him on when we first really got started, and so he's stuck with it. There was a few others too that went back to her after she reopened,
Hmm.
and I don't know if there's any of the original crew who's still on or not besides
Yeah.
him. But all right, well that covers the chamber issue. Oh, my daughter, when I told her I was gonna, well, actually I asked her first if she thought you would enjoy or like to do one of these, and so we were talking, and she mentioned that you found something that you lost over 40 years ago.
Well, I didn't know I'd lost it. It's the damnedest thing,
All
and it was
right.
50 years ago.
50. Wow.
Yeah, seems like a one night fling in 1970 produced a child that I was not aware of until
Ah,
she was 51 years of age, and her birth certificate had her mother's name on it,
right.
but no daddy's name on it. And
Right.
she was 51 years old, and she wanted to know who her daddy was.
Uh huh.
So she went out onto the DNA stuff or whatever's, and I'm not out there, but
Right.
I've got nieces and cousins and stuff that are.
Right.
Well, that
Mm-hmm.
boy, that I mean, that stuff's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got a call from a second cousin that I didn't even know that I had,
Right.
and she said, "Mike, you're your brother Butch. I have a daughter," and I'm going, "Oh, that doggone
Uh,
brother of mine, he was something else." Well,
right.
so come to find out, whenever we finally spoke, I said, "Well, I'm not going to do that DNA, but I'll do that parental test, whatever it is."
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, so we both, it's the same damn thing probably, but we both did it, and it came back 99.99% positive that this is your daughter.
Right. That
Okay, well, it's my daughter.
uh,
Yeah.
it sounds like an episode of Maury Povich.
No, and I tell you what, this could have been a really neat movie. It really could have,
Right.
because the best news is it has turned out perfect. We met each other over the phone and talking in October and November of 20, and then she and her family came to St. Louis in March of 21, just before COVID, and we had a big family gathering at my daughter's house in St. Louis, and she met everybody, and we all just fell in love instantly.
Right.
My wife was there; she was still with me, and she kept saying, "Now, Mike, let's talk about these dates again," because she and I got married in 1970, and my bonus daughter was
Mm-hmm.
born in 1970.
I
So
see.
when you take 9 months back, that takes us back to about February, because it was in November when she was born. So January or
Right.
February, she was conceived. All right. I
Uh,
didn't meet my wife until May.
right.
So she, so every time let's
Yeah.
go over those dates one more time.
Yeah.
But I was
Okay.
innocent. I was
Yeah.
innocent. Yeah.
Proven
Other than,
innocent.
other than
Well,
this.
my adopted sister just had a year ago now, but a similar experience. She had I had an adopted brother, David Black, and who's deceased now, but Kendra, and David never had any interest in knowing who his real parents were or anything about them, but Kendra did, and just recently she's up in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I'm not sure how she traced it back, but she found her. They met, uh, had a good time. She has a brother. His name's David,
Hmm.
which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
But anyway, same story. So
Yeah.
she's probably, oh gosh, I'm ashamed to say I don't know how old she is, but I'm
Hmm.
gonna guess she's probably around 50, 55, something like
Yeah.
that. I'd have to do some math to figure it out.
Yeah. So
But
it's been 5 years since we had a chance to get together, and good news is my wife did have a chance to meet her and accepted her with open arms. My
right,
two other daughters have accepted her as their big sister with open arms. She's all part of the. They've got my daughter and them have a cousin connection on Facebook or on whatever's,
right,
and
right,
so she's joined them on that. So I mean, she's like one of the family now. I go
sure,
out there. I go out there at least once a year, and she likes to walk run, and I like to walk run.
Right.
So we do the really a cool deal. The Las Vegas Rock and Roll Las Vegas Run. It's
Hmm.
a 10K on the Strip at night in downtown in
Right.
Vegas. It's a
Wow.
cool deal. 25,000 people there. You know, my daughter and I are getting to run together doing this.
Right.
Cool
Right.
deal. Yeah.
I have a similar. That doesn't always go as easy as mine did, but once my wife Peggy died,
hmm I remember her
I
very well. You guys, I remember we used to hang out together some, and it was always a lot of fun.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, this girl from back in the '80s that we back then the hot spot in town was the Double J Bar,
Okay.
and so we spent time in there. And this girl and her husband at the time they started coming in, so that's how I got to know her. And then eventually she ended up on the bowling team with Nona Hastings and the whole little clique, you know.
Uh huh.
And a few months after Peggy had passed, I had gotten these Facebook friend requests, but the little image was like this big, you know, and I was like, I don't know that name. I don't know who they are. And it doesn't show I got any friends with them. So I just kept blowing it off. And so I got another one and another one. So finally I sent them to my daughters, Melissa and Kim. And I said, you know who this is? She keeps requesting friendship, you know. And they was like, no. So out of curiosity, one time I went ahead and accepted it. And lo and behold, she didn't send me a bunch of pictures from back in the day. And she was in the middle of getting a divorce. And so I had just moved back to Florida and she was in Texas. And she moved back home in Mount Vernon. And then I ended up going up there and picking her up, bringing her down here and getting married. So it's been
Well,
eight
how
years
cool is
ago
that?
now.
I feel
But
happy
all
for
of the
you.
kids, all of the family, no animosity whatsoever.
Exactly. Yep.
And I know people that it was completely opposite. You know, they
hmm
wouldn't get around
Yeah.
them, didn't want to see them, talk to them.
Yep.
But no, I was fortunate that way too. That everybody accepted her. Um,
hmm
I got to get up. I got a cat wanting out. I knew as soon as I started this, he'd want out. But let me get him out the door. All right, there you go. He usually sleeps through them, but he didn't this time. He goes, stands here and looks at me and looks at the door, looks at me and looks at the door.
Yep.
Okay, so you mentioned walk running, and that was the next thing on my list I wanted to inquire about. Was your? I see you do a lot of the 5Ks and stuff. How'd you get wrapped up in that hobby? I'm gonna call it a
Well,
hobby.
I don't really know how it got going on it, but about 13 years ago, in fact, I just happened to look this up the other day for whatever reason. My daughter Sarah was really active at that time, getting with working out and so forth. And there was a run down at Wren Lake College for the Benton High School Foundation or something. It was a 5K, and
Hmm.
my daughter and another gal were going to go run it. And I said, "Well, I think I'll go do it." Well, I
Right.
went down there and did it, and I made it, and I beat them by almost 3 minutes.
Wow.
And I thought, well, it's not too bad of a deal, and I kind of enjoyed it. And then I thought, well, let's do another one, and then another one. And so I try to do it sounds like 12, but try to do one a month when you can. But in wintertime, you don't, it's hard to do them. However, I
Right.
do one in early December that sometimes it's been so cold you shouldn't be outside, and we still ran.
Right.
I mean, and so it happens.
Do you run
Uh,
faster on the colder weather or slow
no,
you down?
my speed's about the same, and it's
Same.
getting much slower.
Right.
I'm now to the point. Well, what I was going to say, I try to do one a month, and by doing that, I get 2 weeks off, and then I need to work out for a week or so, and then go run the run. And
Right.
so I've got one coming up June the 10th. Is my next one. I just did one down at Wren Lake. Was the first one they had. It was for their foundation. And
Hmm.
the good news is, Rich, every time. Every time I'm either the oldest or tied with the oldest person in the race. I was in St. Louis at a race, 2,168 people.
Right.
Myself and one other man were 79 years old, and we were the oldest ones out of 2,168 people.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
So, and I finished. So,
And you finished. Yeah, that's the
I used to
important thing.
worry,
Getting
I
what
used to
place
worry
you come
about my
in. Yeah.
time. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to
Do
run
you
for the
do
time.
anything like mentally before you run to prepare, or you just
I'm not sure this is the place to say that.
oh Well, that's up to you. Uh,
It's legal.
I think things are pretty well accepted along that line anymore across
Yeah,
the whole spectrum. Nobody
yeah. No, I
down
don't.
down
I
here.
since yeah, I
Ever down here,
sincerely.
everybody prepares
Yeah,
every day.
exactly. Listen, I'm with you. But
Yeah.
no, I don't do anything special. In fact, I'm getting a little cocky, and I'm probably going to end up hurting myself. But I've done so many of them now that my body pretty well knows what I'm doing when I get there, and
Hmm.
it's not as it used to. That first mile would kill you.
You're right.
You say, "My God, why am I here?" The second mile, it'd be okay. The third mile, your legs would get heavy, and then
Right.
you'd finish. Well, the last one I did, none of those three things happened, and I'm going, "Oh my God, dang, what's happening here?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think my body's kind of accustomed to doing them now. But I still got to have to work out. And during the wintertime, I referee basketball also, junior high
Right.
basketball.
I got to
So
get
that
some.
keeps me going a lot. I did
Yeah. Yeah.
131 games last winter.
You're right. My mom's always
Yeah.
been active. She's 92 right now, and
Hmm.
she still lives by herself, takes
Yeah.
care of everything. I goes to church,
Yep.
does her grocery shopping,
Hmm.
and she says she has no pain. She goes, I feel
I'm the same
fine.
way.
She
Yep.
she quit a few things, and I've started copying her. The first one is stop using your hands to get up out of your chair. And I never
Okay.
thought about it until she seen me get up one day when I was there, and she goes, "You need to quit doing that." And I'm like, "Doing what?" And she goes, "Using your hands to get up." She goes, "Look," and she just stood up. She goes,
How neat. Yep.
and so that was one thing. So try as
Yep.
best I can. I try not to
Yep.
use my hands to stand up.
My,
Heck, I
my
can't remember. There was four things that you're supposed to stop doing, and they were, you know.
well, my older
But
brother
that one
told me.
stood out.
I bet my older brother told me a long time ago. He said there's a lot of things that you used to do without even thinking, and now you won't even think about doing them. And so that list is getting longer all the time. For I'm not even thinking about doing them. We don't
Uh,
do roofs anymore. We don't need to be on that roof. There ain't nothing up there we need.
no,
'Cause
no, that's a
somebody
younger
else.
man's game.
And amen. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm if I drop something and I got to get down on my hands and knees, I got to make sure I got something there next to me. So I've been
Sure.
practicing. That was another one, getting
I
up
bet it
out.
was.
So
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some techniques that actually help. Some body
There is.
positions you can get in and pop right up.
You're
But
exactly right. Roll over
you,
on your side, get a leg under you, and push
yeah,
up.
get
Yes.
that leg under and pop right
Exactly.
around. It kind of reminded me of when I was kayaking. There was what we called the hip flick, and that was when you capsized. You'd pull your paddle around. Now you're upside down, and the timing was hard to get, but you're using your paddle as propulsion to start you getting upright, and then you got to stay bent over the side of the kayak until you come up and your head's out of the water, and then you pop your hip under you and get that boat back underneath you. And it took me a while to figure that out.
I bet.
I remember going out to JC Lake one time, me and a friend of mine, and we were practicing rolls. And there's these two old ladies sitting on the bank in the lawn chair. And I heard that one say to the other one and says, "Boy, if he gets out in the river, that boy going to drown." She didn't know we were practicing doing that. She thought we were just falling over.
That's funny.
Pretty funny. Really
Yeah.
funny. Um, let's see. I went over that. Oh, there was a picture, and I'm gonna probably put it in editing. But you were standing on the corner. I didn't understand.
I don't know which
You,
one you're talking
you
about.
were just standing on the corner in
In
Winslow,
Winslow,
Arizona.
Arizona. What a
Yeah,
fine sight to see.
that's
My Lord,
right.
look, stop and
Your
took a look at me.
flatbed four.
Yeah, yeah. It was a cool experience. My
Yeah.
grandson has moved to Rawlins, Wyoming. He's an engineer for the Union Pacific Railroad,
Hmm.
and so I decided to go visit with him. So I
Right.
drove to Rawlins, Wyoming, and spent a couple of days with him, and then I drove out to Las Vegas to see my bonus daughter. And
Hmm.
on the way home, I came in on the south. I came back through the south end, and it took me right through Winslow and that whole area along. And in fact, I went up to the Grand Canyon and saw all that while I was there. And of course, you
Hmm.
got to get a picture. I like my camera. and
Right.
uh, and I've heard that song. And that's one of my favorites. It's everybody's favorite. And to be
Right.
able to stand there and look at that, I had to go across the street and buy a T-shirt, of course.
Oh yeah. I've seen that picture. A lot of people post that
Oh yeah,
very
yeah,
picture there. You know,
yeah. It's so easy. Yep,
if you know, you know, or something like
exactly.
that. You know?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a cool trip though. That was a 4,000 mile drive. First time
Woo.
I'd ever done that by myself
Mm.
in my blue pickup truck.
Well, I tell you what, you mentioned you like your camera,
Hmm.
and I just recently bought me a camera, but this one flies.
Oh, do you want your drone?
It's a drone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Let me
Yeah.
get it out right here. This is the whole package right here.
My goodness gracious.
And it flies itself, Mike. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, you can fly it manually with your phone, with your hands. Um, it's called a Neo 2, and it doesn't have a battery in it right now, but I don't know if you can see.
That's all the
Oh,
bigger it is?
it's a flying camera, about 6 inches square, maybe an inch and a half thick,
Yeah.
but it has 48 gig of memory built into it. And so, I take it out, pop it up. I fly a mile and a half from the house. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to be line of sight. But Christ, little as this is, you wouldn't be a couple
Well,
of miles to go see it.
you can't see it.
Yeah, right. So I go further than that, and it's a little weird when you first start. You're flying around out here in the cul-de-sac, and you got your
Uh-huh.
eye on it, not paying much attention to your screen. But once I raise up and fly out over the trees, then the only thing I've got is my screen.
Uh-huh.
And there's a little park over here with a swimming pool and ball diamonds and basketball courts and all that. And I'll fly over there and do like a loop around it, and come back. But the idea when I bought it, I do a whole lot of setting at a desk at home. I work from home, and I drive to North Tampa 4 days a week and set up there and work. So I wasn't getting any exercise or any steps in at all, hardly. And so I thought, I'm going to get that thing. And there's all these beaches, a little beach here, beach there, and then parks with hiking trails. And I said, I'll take that and I'll just start shooting episodes of doing
Sure.
this and doing that. Get me out of the house and have some fun. But this thing, you can, with just the drone itself, nothing else, you can push the buttons. There's a little screen on the front, and you can put it in follow, and then you can tell it if you want it low, medium, or high, and then how far out you want it from you. Hit the other button, and it takes off out of the palm of your hand. And it shoots up to that location, and you can walk wherever, and that thing is right there tracking you. And then when you get done, you stick your palm out like this, and you come land right back down. I mean, it's like the best beginner, but it's got a great camera on it.
If we're
And
not careful, they're going to put a man on the moon someday with all this technology.
well, that's what's scary is in that little thing right there.
Yeah.
It's got object avoidance. So if it's flying, there's a tree limb hanging down, it'll duck right under it. It's got GPS. As soon as you lift off the ground, it says home point updated. Now you could fly this thing wherever and lose track of where you're at. You hit one button and it says return to home, and it comes back and lands right on the spot it took off from. So you start thinking about all the technology that's built into that little thing, and you're going, oh my God.
Yeah.
It tells me how far above the ground I am, how far away from the controller. I can launch it on my screen. I can draw a box around my van and put it on active track and get in the van
Yep.
and drive down the road. They'll follow me right down the road. But pretty fun, pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah, flying camera. So just so you know, it's a Neo 2, and they're not sponsoring this or anything. So
Well, you might contact them
that
because
whole bag you got about $500 in it. And that's
you might contact them. You feel pretty good about it. They might give you a gig.
right, right.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
there's a
another
lot
thing
of
I do. Did you know I was a professional male model?
Well, that
Is,
was my
is that
next
on your list?
subject that we were going to inquire about your Walmart talent
Oh,
sheet.
well, she has updated you, hasn't she? Because I just came
Well,
back from there
yeah.
last week.
No, you told me that. On
Oh, did I
email.
tell you that? Okay, I
Yeah,
wasn't for
yeah.
sure. Yeah, this I've been modeling for quite some time, and you can't make a living doing it. Oh, by the way,
No.
and when the more rural area you get into, the less the opportunities are.
Right. Well, I
But
had a
you can,
question I wanted to ask up
yeah,
front here before you get too
go,
deep into it.
yeah.
My first immediate instinct was you shooting a commercial and were you acting as a greeter?
That's a good question because we never know what we're doing until we get there.
Yeah.
They sent a call sheet out the night before to tell us what time we and what to do and all that kind of happy stuff. It's
Right.
a pretty big deal. And it said we are going to be a customer. So all day long, I was a customer. So we never
Right.
got to put on the blue jacket. They
Right.
actually brought some of the associates that were checking out. We went through the checkout line a couple times. So they brought an associate over to act like he was doing the cash register
Right.
with the blue jackets on. He had to sign a release and everything. He
Oh
didn't
boy.
get paid any extra, but
Right.
he's still going to be in the video. Yep.
Right. Yeah, I did a little research on it and I seen where they had open casting calls and then they have direct submissions.
Hmm.
And then also you can, I guess, work through a talent agent.
Well, that's what I do. I'm a member of a place called it's called St. Louis Actors and Talents or something like that. Now it used to be called Barbizon, which is a
Hmm.
long time name in the advertising and modeling business in St. Louis, 40, 50 years. And
Right.
then another person bought it and they changed the name. Yeah, I go through them, and I've got all my stuff inside their system. So if something pops up that I would be eligible or qualified for,
Right.
they send my picture in. She called me. She said, "Mike, you want me to send this in on this?" I said, "Look, I'm not going to go. Normally, let me back up. We normally have to do an audition here at home. They used to make us go to St. Louis, but now you do it at home with your cell phone.
Right.
Okay, you got to do your slate, which is who you are, and then sometimes they'll want you to say something, and then you have to turn left and turn right and
Yeah.
smile and show your hands, and we do all that stuff. And I'm just tired of doing it because I haven't been getting any gigs for 2 years.
Right. Right.
I'm just tired of it. So I told her, I said, no, if I have to do all that stuff, I'm not going to do it. You don't have to, Mike. Well, I'll be damned. She sent it in and I got the gig.
Wow. I'm going to
And
take a little drink of Coke here out of my.
I understand. I was thinking about going and getting a refreshing beverage myself, but
Can you see it?
yes, I can. Donald Trump,
My Trump cup.
a Trump cup. Yeah. So anyway, it was a neat deal. It was in over in Jefferson City. They Walmart's now doing their own a clothing brand. I'm
Hmm.
not sure. Remember the name, like Scoops or something like that, or Scopes. Probably dead wrong.
I
But
don't
we,
know.
my wife and I were in the clothing department, and she was looking at a nice sweater she needed to have. So I
Right.
was admiring it and pushing the cart through the store. So we're just customers all day
Yeah.
long, and
Yeah.
we go back and sit in the waiting room and drink water and check out our phones, and then beer job next. So
Right.
we'd go and they'd take us to another department. We did a lot of produce.
Right.
uh,
So I guess we got to keep our eye on the Walmart commercials now.
well, I'm hoping it'll be big time because they, fortunately enough, they were very kind to us
Right.
financially.
Do
So
they
they
let
put a
you know
lot.
when it airs or anything?
No, they don't tell you anything at
They
all.
don't tell you anything.
I think our agency always tracks all that stuff because she
Right.
likes to promote that, hey, here's my people and here's what they did. So I'm
Hmm.
sure she'll be watching for it. And when that time comes, I'm sure if I'll share it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure you will. Yeah.
yeah. If I'm in it,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you never know, right? They
well,
cut, snip, and cut.
yeah. Do you got just a couple more seconds? I got one more story for you on that.
Go.
Yeah,
I've got all the time in the world except
okay.
you that I'm worried about interrupting.
No, no. My one other gig that I had in this was with Channel Seed. They bought out almost all the seed companies. Bayer actually bought it all, and they named it Channel Seed. So
Hmm.
they did a big commercial up in Iowa, southeast corner of Iowa, and to introduce the old brand over to the new brand. So they hired a bunch of us, drove us up there, or we drove up there. They paid us by the hour while we drove up there and paid us mileage. It was a good gig. Put
Yeah.
us up
Yeah.
overnight and fed us, and the next day we shoot it out actually at this farm. And we have a guy with a great big red Massey Ferguson, whatever it is, and we got a guy with a hat, a younger guy that picks off the old hat and puts on a new hat. All right,
Right.
that's one of the shots. And then we go outside to the truck and we're taking stuff out of the truck, and I'm standing there and I'm the old farmer and he's the new farmer. So I'm
Awesome.
in this thing all day long, and when that commercial aired, I was in there at 1/10 of a second.
Really? I know. I know.
All that, and so
I've always heard you end up on the cutting room
yeah,
floor.
and that was a pretty good gig. I mean, they paid
Paid good money.
yes,
Just yeah.
but
Well,
okay,
a lot of times it has to do with compression of time, to
yeah,
get that
yep,
commercial or whatever
yep,
within 30
yep,
seconds or whatever. And
yeah,
so they have to get just the essence out of it.
yeah,
I
hmm,
watched a movie years ago, watched it over and over. It was one of the funniest movies I'd ever seen. Happened to pick it up in the 99-cent bin at a Walmart when they used to throw all those DVDs and stuff in a bin, and
yeah.
mark them all down 99 cents or whatever. It was called Run, Ronnie, Run. And it had all kinds of cameos of actors and actresses. And it was a crazy story, but it was funny. I mean, we used to memorize lines out of it, one of those kind of things. We watched it so much in our little
Uh,
clique. And but there was one point in there where this very dignified looking guy says, "We're going to have to make an edit cut here, uh, not for content." Content was all over the place, but for time. Like all these dirty scenes and everything. Yeah, we're not going to cut any of that, but for time, we got to make it cut.
yeah.
Yeah, funny, funny. Well, that's about all I had on my sheet. I'm still doing what I've always done. I work for a big metal fabricating company up in North Tampa. I go up there
Mhm.
for 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, and the hardest part of that job is the drive up and the drive back, 25 miles each way on I-75.
I've heard
So,
bad things about that road.
oh God,
Yeah,
95, 75, and four. Oh,
yeah. A lot of
but
people down
anyway,
there. I don't miss
all I do
crowds.
is look at drawings and pull off. Mainly, what my focus is right now for this company is all water treatment facilities, wastewater
Hmm.
plants, water reclamation. So there's tons and tons of aluminum rails, aluminum stairs, ladders, platform,
Yeah,
hatch covers. Just grading throughout these plants. And so all I do is I go through and identify everything, pull them off, and I give them a tag number, and then I go through and estimate, quote each item, and prepare a quote, send it in, and then when the work comes in, it goes to somebody else.
there you go. Yep.
When I first started there, they had me doing three things. I was doing estimating, project manager, and sales route.
Other than that, you didn't have much to do.
Yeah, and finally, I told the owner there, I said, "Look, I said I can do you more beneficial by staying in here and estimating more and more jobs than having to be stretched between trying to run a project and try to get another estimate out and then get up and go on a sales route packing donuts around."
Yeah,
And so he finally agreed and said, "Okay, we'll just let you do your thing, and I'll get somebody else in here." So worked out pretty good. He's got two other project managers in there now, and all I do is the estimating for the water. They do
it's
a lot of
cool.
other stuff, but
Hmm.
my focus is water.
Yeah,
So what we
yeah,
call
good.
poop plants. Get a lot of those.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know. Down here, though, they're trying to work it out. They're having a lot of pushback on the toilet to tap,
Okay.
where the wastewater goes through and gets purified and back
Uh
to
huh.
your drinking water.
Yep.
And they're all having a big flack about it. And I was like, well, they've been doing it in the spacecraft for years and years, recycling it. So, uh, well, anyway, hey, unless you've got anything you want to add,
I don't know what it'd be.
now would be the time to do it.
I don't know what it would be, but I appreciate the offer and I appreciate the time you've given me. And this has been cool. I've enjoyed talking to you.
All right, Mike, and thank you very much again for your time and coming on. And
I'm at
it'll take me a
99%.
yeah, it'll
I'm at
take me a little
99% uploading.
99.
Yeah.
I'm at 99 too.
Yeah. Cool.
But at any rate, it'll take me a little bit to do the post editing. I don't usually cut anything out, but I may bring pictures in and
Sure.
sometimes even video or whatever.
Mm.
But I do all that and put an intro on it and then the credits at the end and all that, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. And when that happens and it gets published, I'll send you the link.
Please do,
It'll be
because I
on
definitely want
Facebook
to see it.
too.
Yeah, because and also I've got your app here. Will it be where I can access it through your app?
No, because well, you might. I don't know. See, I've never been on that end. I mean, I
Okay.
can. I go back and look at them.
Hmm.
You might be able to watch the whole thing on there. That'd be something interesting to know. But until I upload it on YouTube, you'll just get this raw
Right.
footage that we're
Yep.
talking about right now.
Right now, here's what it's showing right there. Uh, that makes
Continue with
sense.
Google or Riverside, yeah. Yeah, you may be
That.
able to. I've never, like I said, I've never been on the end of being invited into the conversation.
Uh huh.
So,
Yep.
uh,
Okay.
but yeah, try it. Shoot me a text or something and let me know if that works because I can
Sure.
tell other people, hey, you can watch this thing before
Hmm.
I. Because, like I said, what I do is I'll take this footage and then I'll dump it into another program, and then that program I can add my intro on, my credits, bring
Sure.
pictures up, do all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. Then that becomes the actual upload.
Gotcha.
And so
Okay.
this is just raw. All right. Thanks again.
Fantastic.
Enjoy the
Have,
rest of your evening, and we'll talk again at some point.
look forward to it. Take care,
All
Rich.
righty.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Get the
Wait
stop
till it gets
button
to
here.
100.